Women Grow is an organization that is about connecting, empowering, and educating women who are interested in getting into the cannabis industry, but more importantly, just really supporting women leadership in the industry. Um, One of the main reasons why it was founded is because we were finding that we didn't want it to be like corporate America, where you had predominantly rich males in the industry and there wasn't really a space for women.
So we want to also know exactly what is the direction we want to go with Women Grow and the types of people that you're going to be bringing into the seminars.
Well, ideally, when I think about Women Grow and attendees, the main thing that's important to me and one of the things that I'm really passionate about is education. Education is really the foundation for everything. And if we are going to be strong leaders, we being women, one of the main foundations that we need to build upon is education. And also, too, you have women who are interested in entrepreneurial track, so we want to be able to offer education for those women as well. You are going to have women who are interested in becoming dispensary owners, cultivators, growers, or own edibles companies, and a lot of that really starts with education, because without education, we don't have anything. We don't have anything. We don't have anything.
How do you feel about the medicine side, and how does that, how could you be a factor towards the industry in that way?
From the medicinal side, that's pretty huge. There are a lot of avenues that you could take with that. Ideally, when it comes to the medicinal side of things, that really touches our everyday life. I mean, when you look at the big pharmaceutical companies, our government and large corporations like that are really making a conscious choice to actually kill people and harm people. A lot of times they'll put on their labels different side effects that actually can harm us. Whereas cannabis or medicinal marijuana, however way you want to coin it, it's been statistically proven that there aren't any side effects to that. And I think from that standpoint, we can advocate for the medicinal side in a lot of different ways, just from our everyday health and wealth, how we would raise our children, how it would educate our children, how it would affect us on the job, how it would affect us in our everyday life. And a lot of those different things, you don't really have that on the medicinal side as it relates to cannabis. But when it comes to a lot of other addictive drugs, you tend to have things like people getting addicted, not being able to perform in their active daily lives. So the medicinal side of cannabis is a much more safer choice than a lot of the pharmaceutical drugs that we tend to consume and that are advocated by a lot of doctors in that particular industry.
So we definitely want to make this accessible to Georgians, and how can we get them involved in this process so that the reform of this policy can, happen for us in Georgia?
As it relates to Georgia, we're, unfortunately at this stage, we're 10 years behind the time. I definitely would like to see a time, obviously sooner than later, where there is all decriminalization of marijuana. When we can get to a place where you do have families who understand that they do have options for treatments, either for themselves or for their children, as opposed to having to fly to a Colorado or having to fly to a Washington and not feel like they're being treated like criminals or drug traffickers because they're afraid to go to those particular states and then bring medicinal cannabis back. And a lot of that really does start with education. Being able to have platforms like Women Grow, that provides a safe place where people can actually go and connect with other people, get information, be informed in the right way, and feel comfortable and not feel like criminals. It's providing a platform where people can actually engage other people in conversations like themselves, rally together to get the education that they need.
And one of the speakers that you are bringing will have a big part in this. So we heard that Alan Peake will be coming to speak with us. And what part does he play in all of this?
I feel very fortunate to have a person like Alan Peake become a speaker. I mean, for me, I'm humbled to even have him be able to meet and chat with us because he plays such an integral role in expanding our marijuana laws here in Georgia. Being that he was one of the co-sponsors of the bill, he's been a strong advocate for us here in the state of Georgia, not just as it relates to passing the law in May of this year, but he's actually been trying to work on both sides of the aisle and have been advocating it for about 2 years now. And without his persistence and without a lot of people in his camp to be able to rally around him and understand why it is important for Georgians to have it, it's huge for him to be with us and share with us. And I think it also gives Georgians, and particularly people in Atlanta, people in the community, an opportunity to actually engage him, get involved, make their voices heard. And who knows, when we do go to vote in 2016, maybe he may be able to take some of those ideas and take them to the floor and be able to get the laws expanded in the state of Georgia.
So you're saying if we can make this aware to the general public and bring more people together, we can actually, as a people, make this change?
It starts with the people. It never starts from the top. It always starts from the bottom. And if we can, like I said, get involved, rally together, make our voices heard, the more the merrier. And at the end of the day, the representatives work for us. So we need to make sure that we're sending that message and letting them know that as a voting public, as a community, these are the things that we want. These are the things that we're interested in. And we can't do that by ourselves. So again, a place and a platform like Women Grow, having a speaker like Alan Peake come to one of our events and be able to have a platform to have that informed, educated, mature conversation is what we need.
What types of things will happen to the families in Georgia if this does not pass this year or next year?
Well, right now we do have some laws on the books, but it's clearly not enough. Unfortunately, the laws that we do have right now are very limited in scope. Obviously, then that leaves out a lot of the larger population. So one of the goals, obviously, is to further that conversation and be able to expand the laws. Some of the things that we will be talking about are things like, what do Georgians need? What do families need? How do we go about getting our medical marijuana cards? What types of strains are we even talking about? What are the different types? What are the common uses? How do we get people involved? How do we get the community involved? How do we get doctors who are writing the prescriptions involved? And this is just the first step in the process.
And we know that your insurance agency, Agents Alliance, you are the president and owner of that, and that's going to play a big role in this medicinal marijuana industry.
Well, fortunately or unfortunately, depending upon what side of the coin you view things on, if you really think about it, at the end of the day, insurance touches every area of our life. It doesn't matter if it's your house, your car, your business, what have you. I think that insurance will play an integral role in the cannabis industry, primarily because those businesses need to be insured. Those patients who are getting their prescriptions need to be insured. And there are a lot of different things that need to be protected. I mean, all the things that go along with a person being in business, such as a cannabis professional. You have your business liability insurance, you have your crop insurance, you have your general liability, your product liability, you have cybersecurity, you have regular security, on-premise security, you have health insurance that you may need for your employees who work for your collective or your dispensary. And then getting on the patient side, those professionals who are actually providing care to you, they need to have insurance. They typically would need to have some type of errors and omissions insurance. Again, on the patient care side, just an individual will need to have health insurance. And we're trying to create an environment to where a lot of the insurance companies will be required for people who have certain kinds of illnesses to carry insurance for them. Because as you know, typically a lot of people have gone bankrupt because they didn't have insurance. So insurance is going to play a major, major role in the cannabis industry.
And it sounds like a 360-degree insurance company for the cannabis industry. You're going to cover everything and everyone. And we also heard that you are bringing a pop culture star, Charlo, to the event coming up in July as well. And we heard great things about her. So what part does she have in the cannabis industry?
Well, I was very fortunate to come across Charlo Green maybe about 6 months ago through a very close contact that I know. And initially, I didn't know the type of following that she had. I didn't really know what her advocacy efforts were. I didn't realize how passionate she was. But as I started to educate myself a little bit more and do a lot more background on who she is, what she stands for, what she's trying to do as a whole, I said, there is no way that I can't not have her come to a Women Grow event. And also the fact that she is a woman would mean so much to have her come and speak with us in Atlanta. So I feel very, very fortunate that she said yes. She is a young lady who has a very strong vision. She's very passionate about being an advocate in the industry. She knows what she wants. She knows how to get it. She's very motivated. And those are a lot of qualities that I liked. She's very entrepreneurial. She's very big on bringing people together, educating people, educating the masses. So those were additional qualities that I was actually drawn to be able to have someone like her who is as passionate, who is as focused, who is as supportive to seeing women succeed, to seeing that marijuana is legalized nationwide. I couldn't help but not partner with her. I couldn't help but ask her to be a guest and a speaker. And again, I'm very thankful that she said yes.
We have a lot of great speakers at these events. What is the main thing that you think that the women that do attend your events will get out of it?
Women influence so many different things. I mean, women, we influence business decisions. We influence a lot of decisions that are made in our household. And when you look at politics, we as women, we make up a huge demographic as it relates to getting votes in. So I think from their perspective, I think that they had a lot of foresight and were very knowledgeable to reach out and jump on board very quickly.
Right. And we do feel like we're actually getting advice from the experts and getting a step ahead of everybody else in the industry right now from the knowledge we're learning at your events. Everybody seems to know, they're either a lobbyist working on the law or a politician that's writing part of the bill, or, it's very intriguing to be there. And when do you think that the national conference will be held for this event?
Well, in a perfect world, if I had my way, I would like to have our first National Business Expo or National Conference the first part of 2016. And I say that because that allows us to get a lot more experience under our belt as an organization here in Atlanta. It also gives us more of an opportunity to gain credibility, get a stronger reputation in the community. And I think at that point, the moment that we talk about what Women Grow is doing next year, you'll see a lot more people coming on board. You'll see a lot more people wanting to sponsor with us just because of our track record that we're building now.